What's up, guys? It is Sam here, and I have an awesome video for you tonight. We have our 7th edition of our YouTube rankings of the Democratic candidates that are running for president. So what we're doing is we're looking at 3 different time periods to understand who is most popular in each one of those time periods, and then we're going to take an average to see who's actually number 1 on the second biggest site in the planet in terms of search volume. So with that being said, if this is your first time here, what's good? My name is Sam, and for those of you who are returning, you better be subscribed. It's good to freaking see you. All right, let's get into it. So what do I have here? This is Google Trends, and you put in the search query. So we put in a search query for each one of the candidates' names, and then we stack rank them from most popular in terms of the most amount of searches down to least popular, who had the least amount of searches at the 12-month, the 3-month, and the 1-month. And then we took an average where we gave 25% to the 12-month, 25% to the 3-month, 50% from the 30-day, because that's the most recent data, the most relevant data. And I put all that together into a spreadsheet and came up with the top 5 candidates: Andew Yang, Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, Tulsi Gabbard, and Pete Buttigieg. So the numbers are kind of interesting though, because when you see a headline, that's one thing, but when you actually dive in to try to understand what's happening, it's different. Just like if you look at any of the polls out there, you can see that some of the polls are like ridiculous. I saw one poll that had 600 people, and then you have the media reporting on 600 people's opinion around who they're going to elect, and they're saying that that's representative of what the collective of America thinks. I think that it's just not an accurate way of portraying the real understanding of where America is, and that's why we're doing these. So if you appreciate that, let me know down below in the comments. Use the hashtag STOLT so that we can actually talk about your comment at the Q&A section at the end of the video. Use the hashtag STOLT, the name of the channel, and then when I get into my YouTube analytics, I can actually search for hashtag STOLT, and we can talk about your comments because you guys leave some really good stuff. So let's dive in here real quick. As we can see, this is our 7th iteration, and we kind of want to try to understand if there's something happening. So look on the very macro level, we see, well, actually, let's just come in, we'll look at the micro and then go to the macro. Pete, nothing crazy here. Yang lost a spot, so he moved from first to second in from the 90-day to the 30-day. Interesting. Look what's going on here with Sanders, and we've actually noticed this. So this is the second time we've seen this where Bernie Sanders is actually losing ground. He is not gaining relevance; he is losing relevance. Interesting to see where the inverse of that is Mr. Joe Biden, and he has been increasing. He actually displaced Andew Yang at first over the last 30 days. We'll see if it has the sticking power for him or if it's going to be momentary and then it's going to drift off. Cory Booker's lost ground. Elizabeth Warren lost. She's basically just been sitting there at the 5th to 6th spot. Tulsi Gabbard moved up. She went from 5th to 4th to 3rd. Interesting. Very interesting. Now let's take a look at the macro view here. If we go all the way back till mid-October, we see that Pete has been kind of like gaining ground, and then it's stalled out a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see which way he breaks from 5, right? Because he's been at 5 for a while now, or 5th spot. So we'll see which way, if he breaks up or if he breaks down in terms of like the awareness around him based on the YouTube search volume. Andew Yang's been number 1 across the board, but this over the past 30 days is definitely something to monitor. Something to monitor to see if that's going to continue or if he's able to regain that attention away from Joe Biden. Attention, my friends, is the currency of today. If you were trying to make money, if you're trying to get a cause, if you're trying to do anything you want to do, you need attention. Bernie Sanders, he lost a spot. So he's been cruising since we started these about 3 months ago. Bernie's been in number 2. And he just lost a spot. So that consistency that we've seen from Bernie Sanders is he just lost it. Unfortunate for him. So he had been toying around a little bit with Joe Biden right here. They were both tied, but then Joe Biden lost some, and now he's come back and at the same time. some of that attention has come away from Bernie. So that's why he moved into third. And right behind them is Tulsi. And she's been, since we brought her into these rankings, there's actually been a tremendous amount of support for Tulsi Gabbard. She's doing something right. And what just happened with the impeachment, where she voted present versus against or for, I think is a very, very interesting move from a marketing standpoint. You can check out the channel for the full video I did on that, but we looked at some interesting data. And but I think from a more heady standpoint, people are going to on the net see more of the authenticity with this inside her. If that's her North Star, right? You could say Andrew Yang's trying to solve problems in a more intelligent manner than what's currently done. And with Tulsi, hers is like being able to, her North Star is doing what's right for the country as a collective, the entire country, and sticking by her values, what she believes, not swinging with like Republican or Democratic sides just because that's the thing to do and that's what the fucking media reports on. But this move could be super interesting to see if she's able to get that message out, as like now that she's got this attention around this, if she's really able to get that message out to more people and take this opportunity where there's a shitload more eyeballs on her to tell her story more, this could be what actually takes her from, she's been sitting at that 3 to 4 spot. This could be what takes her down into like that top 3. We'll see. So make sure you press that subscribe button and that bell notification so that you can be notified next time I post a video. This is the first time we actually added Michael Brew. I was about to call him Bloomberg. Bloomberg. And he came in at 7th. Not bad. Respectable. I mean, he came in higher than Tom. He came in higher than Amy or like Cory Booker. So he's got more attention and interest already off the bat. Now, is that going to like be where he sits, or do you think he's going to grow? I don't know. But we'll have to see, because when Tulsi came in, she came in at 4th. And she went down, and then she's back up, and I don't know what's going to happen with this, but I have a feeling she'll probably pick up. So I don't know if he's just going to sit at the very, like, you basically have 2 groups. You have, like, the top 5 or 6 people, which are Pete, Andrew, Bernie, Joe, Elizabeth, and Tulsi. So you have those top 6, and then there's everybody else. And everybody else is off by such a big margin that, like, there's only, like, in some of the rankings that we do, because we do these rankings to create our whole power ranking, if you want to go check that out on the channel, but only in some areas do we have anybody else breaking into that top 6 really, and it doesn't carry across all of them. So there's generally a giant gap between the people who have attention and everybody else who's trying to like wager for attention across the board, like on Google, on YouTube, on their website, on Facebook, on Twitter. Like, other candidates are not just breaking into that top 6 at all that I'm seeing. Like maybe a little bit, maybe get to 6th at one point on like one spike of attention, but I've seen that very, very rarely. And I'd like to know what your thoughts are down below in the comment section. Just like these guys over here. This is cool. This is actually a very cool thumbnail. He's got there's no picture. He or she has a blank emoji up there, but there's a fly on it, so that's kind of interesting. It got my attention though, at least, so nice job. The Randy plays, no comment, but that was in reference to Tulsi Gabbard votes president, and we talked about the data behind that video if you want to go check it out. The next is from Robert Cora Rubius. Slaughtered your name, but I appreciate your comment, Robert. This is in regards to the Tulsi Gabbard votes present mainstream media versus the actual data. Stoll, you are 100%. This data is truthful. Absolutely no question. Any person can figure this out that has a brain. Yeah, I agree. No, I mean, like, everybody's got a different point of view. So somebody else could see like the same amount of data that I portray in that video and be like, oh no, this is like tell a completely different story. But I just want, I think the most authentic, like holistic view of what's happening to be, that's what I want to understand. I want to understand what's going on. That's why I don't listen to what the candidates say, because I'm trying to understand what the collective thinks, because I think that's way more valuable to me. So I appreciate the comment. We'll see. I think this could be a fucking ninja move for her. It could be that moment that Andrew Yang had two debates ago where it was just basically a sales pitch, and I thought that was a fucking crazy ninja move. What Andrew Yang did that. So I we'll have to see how much of this she can keep, because I think, I don't know, but I feel like she may be good enough. I don't know. We'll see if she's can continue to articulate her message out to more people. I caught a clip of her and her husband singing on like a bus or something on Twitter, and if she keeps putting out content like that, she's gonna slay. Like, to be that raw and authentic, where you're singing with your husband while he plays ukulele, and you're not like, you're just being you. That shit is gonna get eaten up, because people want somebody who's authentic. People want somebody who's genuine, that they can trust, and that level of authenticity, I don't see a lot of the other candidates bringing to the table. It's not. I think that's going to be bode very well for her. The more she's able to get that out there, because the battle is to win trust. You know, you got to get people's attention so that you can win their trust. And the more she can get her message out by getting attention, the more she'll be able to get. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Another comment. Tulsi Gabbard needs to be president of the United States of America if the country is to survive, potentially. It would be interesting to see her and Yang. I don't think this is actually, so the impeachment thing happened, but it's the House and the Senate has to go. And so like, I think that this is actually beneficial to Trump. And I'm not saying that, like, I'm not supporting a Democrat or a Republican. I'm not Democrat or Republican. I think that this can actually be beneficial to Trump, because it has to go through the Senate. It's probably not going to go through the Senate, and he can still run, I believe, for the next election. But the more important thing is that through this process, there's a unfolding of information, so that the public will actually get to see what all the data is on both sides. And I think that I like to believe that the person, just because I don't understand the point of view that they're coming from, is trying to act in like the best interest of the way they see the world. And I think that Trump's done a lot of good things. So we'll see how this plays out, but we have no idea what would happen with those 20 seats, if there's going to have 20 seats swing one way or 20 seats to swing the other way. I don't know. It'll be interesting to watch. But if there is information that comes out on their other side about how he proves that they're wrong, or ties in other things with Joe Biden, there's some interesting stuff that's coming out around Joe Biden. So if through this process there becomes a criminal like investigation around Joe Biden or something, that's where we would see fucking Joe Biden dropping out, Hillary Clinton jumping in, maybe potentially, right? To take over. She's like, oh, this is a perfect time. We need a fucking leader, right? Like, we see all this shit going on. I could see her telling herself that story. So it could be interesting to see how this plays out. And Dustin, we will get to your comment in the future. I appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.